Okay, today we're going to be working on the Alexa Roku skill. This is going to be part 9 of my series on using a Raspberry Pi for home automation. And this is going to be Alexa and Roku integration. This video is going to have 6 parts. We're going to try to make it through the first 3. It's going to be probably too long, and so we're going to concentrate on the first 3. Part 1 is download the files you'll need. Part 2, set up Amazon Web Services Lambda account. And Part 3, set up Amazon Developer Skills account. Step 4, set up your router, DSL/cable modem for port forwarding. Part 5, set up your Raspberry Pi. And lastly, Part 6, setting up Node Forever. And that'll keep this skill running on your Raspberry Pi. So with that, we'll get started. So part 1, first from your computer, download the files you will need later. You can find it at one of the following links. You have 2 links here. One is from Julian HTO and the other one is from Chris1642. So what you'll, and I like the one from Chris. It's not the one I started out with, but it's the one that I had the most success with getting it up and running. So at that point you can copy the link. The links and everything else I'll provide down below in the description area so that you can easily just copy and paste them to get what you need. So you just copy that, open up a web browser, paste that in your URL, and then you'll see this clone or download button, and that'll have all of this in that. Once you click the clone or download, you'll get a box similar to this. Click Save File. Remember where you save this to, because you'll need to know where you put it. So now that you downloaded the zip, you'll need to extract it. You'll want to right-hand click on top of it and select Extract All, and you should get a box similar to this. I tend to extract my files to the same folder that I downloaded the file to. Just, again, don't forget where you did that. Step 2, set up an Amazon Web Server Lambda account. Now this is free for personal use, and you'll never ever hit the requirements that you need to hit in order to be charged anything. So you just need to go to https://aws.amazon.com. And over time, I'm sure that they're going to change their website, so you might get something that looks a little different, but you should have the sign in to console at the upper top right hand corner. So you'd want to click that button, and you may get another page. Might have to click it again. Again, it should be in the upper right hand corner. Again, if I move through this too fast and you need to, go ahead, feel free to pause it and then just unpause it as you get this stuff done. It's probably the best way to handle that. You'll get another page that'll pop up for sign in. If you don't already have an account, you'll need to create a new account with AWS. Just click the button, create a new account. And you should get another page that pops up. At this point, you'll want to enter in your email address and a password, and then you'll have to retype that password that you're going to use. And you can put in a name if you want to put in your last name or whatever you want to put in. I don't think it matters a whole lot. I think it's optional. And then click the continue button. Be sure that if you're doing this, your email address is going to be basically your username. So you'd want to write this information down, and when you set up your developer account, I would recommend that you use the same password. That way you're not going to forget. And just be sure to write it down, because you don't want to run into a problem having to click forgot password and have to try to get in again. Next, you should get a page that says contact information. Here you'll be asked for your full name, phone number, country, address, city, state, and postal code. Be sure to put a check mark in here that indicates that you've read and agree to the terms of the AWS Service Customer Agreement box, and click the Create Account and Continue button down at the bottom. Next, you should get a page asking you for credit card information for verification purposes. Once you add in your credit card number, your expiration date, the cardholder name, whether you're going to use the previous address information that you added in or use new address, and then hit the Secure Submit. Once you've clicked the Secure Submit, you should end up with a page called Phone Verification. Here you'll need to enter in your phone number, and be sure to accurately put in the characters for your security check. And then click the Call Me Now button. Make sure you have your phone handy and ready. Once you do that, you should get a pop-up called Call in Progress. And in the center, you should have big numbers a 4-digit number. I've blocked it out for security purposes. I don't know why that number isn't going to do anything for anybody. It's just a verification. It's 4 digits, so I'm guessing it's not that important, just for verification. But I blocked it out anyway. Once you get that phone call, answer the phone. It's going to be an automated computer that's going to ask you for the 4-digit number. Give it the 4-digit number. If you give it the correct one, you'll get this message saying your identity has been verified successfully. And then all you have to do at that point is click the Continue button at the bottom. That'll bring you to the next page. On the next page, it'll say Select a Support Plan. At this point, I'm guessing that you're going to be using this for personal use. You're not going to be using this website to develop apps. If that's something you're going to do later on, you can change this information. But for now, just select the free basic plan right here. The next page you'll come to, it'll ask you, it'll tell you welcome to Amazon Web Services, and it'll ask you to sign in. And that's the point you'll need your email address, username, or password. So you'll click that button, sign in to console. Next, you should get a page that looks similar to this. What's important is that you have North Virginia at the top. If you don't, you may end up with something like Oregon there, and you'll need to change that. Just click on the arrow next to it and select North Virginia and .Virginia if it isn't already there. And in the search area, you want to type in Lambda, and then go ahead and select the first choice for Lambda. As you can see, I've already visited it here before, so it shows up under the recent. Next, you should get another page that asks you, it'll look similar to this. It'll ask you to create a function. So go ahead and click the Create a Function button. Once you do that, you should be brought to another page. Here you want to click the Author from Scratch button. Once you do that, it'll take you to a basic information page. And here you'll want to put in the name of your function. So in that case, we're going to use Alexa Roku. Type in Alexa Roku here. Under role, we're going to use create a new custom role. So if you click this area, it'll give you a couple of choices. We're going to select create a custom role from the choice. And then under the role name, we're going to enter in again Alexa Roku. Under policy templates, we're just going to leave that blank and go ahead and click the create function at the bottom right hand corner. If you're asked for any other information, you might be asked for existing role, in which case you'd use Lamda _ basic _ execution, or the runtime information. In that case, you're going to use Node.js 4.3. Okay, you're going to be brought to a page that's going to look similar to this. It's going to give you a congratulations message. At this point, you'll want to copy and paste the ARN in the upper right hand corner. Now I've blanked out part of this for security reasons, but you want to copy this, and I would just paste it into Notepad. I'm using Windows 7, so you just open up a Notepad, right click and select paste that in there. And then once it's open, you can just minimize it. If you've got that ARN number in there, and just minimize it, leave it at the bottom of your screen till you're done. At that point, you can just close it, and when it asks you to save it, just don't save it. So of course, make sure you highlight and copy the full ARN address, starting with the lowercase ARN, for example, ARN.aws.lambda, and whatever's in the middle, and then function : Alexa Roku with the U at the end. Now this is without the quotes. You just want to copy everything in there. Then at the bottom, you'd want to click on triggers located between the configuration and monitoring. So you have configuration, you have monitoring. Just click on triggers. Once you do that, you'll be brought to a page similar to this. Now click on add a trigger. You should be brought to another page like this. To add a trigger, just click on the dotted box, and then a drop-down list should pop up. From that list, you want to select the Alexa Skills Kit. So click on it, box drops down, select Alexa Skills Kit. Once you do that, you should be brought to a page similar to this one. Show your Alexa skills, Lambda there. At that point, you just click the submit button. You should be brought back to another page. It tells you congratulations. And at that point, you could just minimize the web page and just leave it up. Or you could close it. Doesn't really matter. I'd leave it open. Leave it at the bottom because we're going to have to come back to this later. Now we're on to part 3. Time to set up an Amazon Developer Alexa Skills account. At this point, you want to go to http://developer.amazon.com. Now you should get a page similar to this, and at that point you just want to click on the sign in the upper right hand corner. It should bring you to another page. At that point, you want to put in your email address and a password if you already have an account. If you don't, click on the create your Amazon developer account. That's at the bottom. Click on that. It should bring you to another page where you'd put in your name, email address, and the password that you want to use. Now I'd use the same password that you used for the previous account for the AWS. That way you don't forget them. Just be sure to write it down, have it someplace that you know. And then when you're done, click the create your Amazon developer account. Once you do that, you might, not all the time, but you might get a developer registration page. For the most part, this isn't going to concern you. Just fill in as much as you want to fill in. Maybe later on you might find that you're really good at this and you might want to make some money at it and just say, hey, I want one of them accounts. So at this point, you could just put in a display name. For now, under company URL, you could just put none. Be sure to type in the security image. Put a check mark in I have read and accept the login with Amazon Services Agreement. Click the Get Started with Login with Amazon button at the bottom. Of course, make sure you put a check mark in there. You might be brought to a page that asks you for to registration information. The ones with the stars are required, so just put in your name, address, email, phone number. Under developer name or company name, just type in none. You can fill in your address, city, state, postal code. Click the save and continue. Next, you should be brought to kind of like a service agreement where you have to agree to this, a registration page with service agreement. So at that point, just accept and continue button at the bottom right hand corner. Next, you should, finally it's going to go through number 1, number 2, and number 3 for payments. And you can just click cancel or just click save and continue, and then when you get to the next page, just hit, cancel. Next, you might get a choose a platform pop-up. I don't think it really matters. Just I selected Android. It really doesn't matter. And then just click the next button. Then you'll get to a page, and I don't know where you're going to be at on the dashboard, but at this point you just want to select Alexa at the top. Once you do that, you should be brought to a page that's Get Started with Alexa. At this point, you want to click on the Get Started button next to Alexa Skills Kit. Once you do that, you should be brought to a new page that looks similar to this. And at that point, you want to click Add a New Skill button right here. Once you do that, you'll be brought to create a new Alexa skill page. And this page it's fairly easy. There's nothing too difficult with any of this. Here's what the top of the page looks like, and this is what the bottom of the page looks like. Now, like I said, you should get a new page that resembles the ones depicted above. Leave the skill type custom interaction model. So at the top where it says custom interaction model, just leave that the way it is. Select your language, and of course you want to use the same language that's set up with your Amazon Echo. They have to match. So you've got US English here. If you have something different, just make sure that your Amazon Echo and the language settings are the same. And then under the name, just call it Alexa Roku. I used one whole word, capital A, capital R, Alexa Roku. Just so that's the same as the Lambda for consistency. For invocation name, you want to use Roku all lowercase. So this is where you'd want to put Alexa Roku, and then invocation name, just use Roku. Of course, you can use whatever you want, but you're going to say Alexa tell Roku. Alexa tell whatever you want. And you want to make sure that you don't use that. If you set up other skills in this developer website, you don't want to use the same invocation name. Otherwise, you will have problems. Okay, so again, like I said, this word is used to start the skill. Alexa, tell Roku, like tell Roku to go home. And again, make sure you don't use the same name that is already used or you will have problems. Leave everything else the same and choose save at the bottom and then next at the bottom. So you get save, and then after you click save, you should get a page similar to this. At this point, you're going to need to put in a little bit more information. It's not a big deal. You're going to have 3 different spots. Only 2 of them need to be filled out. So yeah, once you've clicked the next button, you should get an interaction model page like the 3 above. Here you'll be asked for intent scheme. I don't know why I call it schema. Maybe it's custom skills type and sample utterances. So if you look at the first page, you've got your intent scheme. You've got your slot types. And down at the bottom, you got your sample utterances. So when it comes to these, all you have to do is go ahead and go to the folder where you downloaded after you downloaded and you extracted. Open it up. Of course, I've deleted some things and it's a little different. But if you go to Alexa Skills, Commands, and Intents, you'll see your intent scheme and your sample utterances. Just have to open it. Should open if you're using Windows 7 like I am. Just open it up in Notepad. Just go to Edit, select all. In the blue area, right click, select Copy. Go ahead and close it, and go ahead and paste it in where you're supposed to. So in this case, you would paste that in under intent scheme. And then for sample utterances, you do the same thing. Just paste it in, right click, paste it in the first line. So again, to go through this again, go to the files you downloaded. The folder should be called Alexa Roku-Master. If you downloaded the files from Chris1642, within that folder you'll find another folder called Alexa-Master. Inside that folder you'll find a folder called Alexa Skill Voice Commands and Intents. Inside this folder you will find the files intent scheme.txt and sample utterances.txt. At this point, open the intent scheme text file. It should open up a notepad, copy its contents, and paste it into the developer website under intent scheme. Do the same for sample utterances file and paste it into the sample utterances part of the developer page. Then click the save button. Of course, you can't. There it is. It's not highlighted yet, but it'll be highlighted for you. Once you click that save button, you'll see a message at the bottom. It'll say successfully updated the interaction model. Once you see that, go ahead and click the next button at the bottom, and you should be brought to a page like this. And it'll be called Global Fields. At this point, you'll need that ARN that you copied earlier. So at the bottom of your taskbar, if you've still got that notepad there, you can open that up and copy that ARN number out of there and paste it in here. But you'll need that, or you can open up the website that you had open if you left it open. And of course, don't forget to just leave this site up. I leave them all up. Of course, you'll want to click AWS Lambda ARN right here, and you'll get a drop-down box. where you can paste that ARN number in. And down below that, part of that website you'll have account linking and permissions. You can leave all this stuff alone. So once you've copied that ARN number, you're going to enter it in a line will pop up down here. You'll have default here. You just paste it in there. Of course, it's going to start with a lowercase a and end with an U. Make sure the check mark in there. This pops up. This pops up. Leave everything else alone. Click the Save button. Then click the Next button. After you do that, you should end up with a page like this. Once you do that, all you have to do, just ignore all this, just click Back to Skills at the top, and you should be taken to a page that resembles this one. This shows you that now you have that skill in there. Now, I think that's enough for this part of the video. Like I said, this is going to be part 1, and I think there's probably going to be 2 or 3 parts. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see how much time goes by. But in our next video, we'll be doing the setup of your router, the port forwarding of your router DSL/cable modem. So yeah, that should be the first. We'll just call this one part 1 of part 9, and Alexa Roku. Again, everything, your links and everything, I'll provide down at the bottom. You should be able to copy them out of there, and then just paste them into a notepad document or something, and you should be good to go. So until the next video.